Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you another highlight using the Spellboost Runecraft deck. I used this during the GP for most of the games, like each day, for most of the days. And it was played on stream as well, so if you're interested in that, you can feel free to follow me on Twitch, it'll be down below. Follow me on Twitter as well, and you can subscribe if you want to see more content from Shadowverse, because I do try and put out these videos quite regularly. But with that said, we'll get right into the deck. So basically what it is the general spell boost deck. So you have your main spell booster here, which is Raio, Omen of Truth. So when you play him, he spell boosts every card in your deck 9 times. If you don't know what spell boost is, it's basically a way to buff up your cards by playing other spells while they're in your hand. A good example of this would be Wind Blast. So it deals 1 damage to an enemy follower for 2, but spell boost it will deal 1 more. So say you spell boost it 4 times, it's going to be dealing 5 damage. So if it's in your hand and you've played 4 other spells, it will deal 5 damage instead of 1 damage. So the spell boost package we're running is you've got Raio to spell boost all the stuff left in your deck. And then you've got Solomon. So what he does is he puts a Seal of Solomon in your hand and you play him, and takes away X from its cost, and X is the number of times he's spell boosted, because followers can be spell boosted as well. And the Seal of Solomon, it originally cost 7, but depending on how much you've spell boosted Solomon, it will go down, and it puts one of the highest cost followers that cost X play points or less from your deck to your hand, and it sets its cost to 0, and X is the number of times you've spell boosted this card. So say your goal in the deck is to play Solomon, spell boost this card 7 times, play it, and get the Raio, and then the Raio costs 0. So every time you play this on, the Seal of Solomon, even if Seal of Solomon costs 3, the Raio is still going to cost 0. So basically use that, and that's like a way to search out the Raio. Other things that you like to spell boost in your deck is your Twin Blade and your Zealot. These are your 2 other part of your other 2 win conditions. So Twin Blade is a Storm follower that deals 2 damage to an enemy follower when he comes in, and anytime he's spell boosted he costs 1 less. And the same as Zealot, he's a Storm follower, it costs 9, 3/5 Storm, costs 1 less for every time he's been spell boosted. So if you play Raio with these cards in the deck, as soon as you draw them they cost 0. And then you've got some draw engines as well. Your Fate's Hand, it draws you 2 cards and it costs 1 less for every time it's been spell boosted, so you can play it for 0. As well as Insight draws you cards, that doesn't get reduced in cost or buffed. Magic Missile deals 1 damage and draws a card as well, but that can't be buffed or anything like that either. You also have another spell boost thing is Eleanor. So when you play her, she's a card in your hand that's been spell boosted fewer than 3 times, she will spell boost it 3 times. And then if you evolve her, she puts a Splendid Conjurer in your hand, and it's a 1 cost spell that deals 3 damage to an enemy follower and can also be spell boosted. So a really good play is to play Solomon on, if you have Solomon on 2 and you don't have anything else, you play Solomon on 2, although you do kind of want to hold them quite a bit sometimes, so you play on 2, play Eleanor on 3, and you've already spell boosted the seal 3 times. You also run in Tetra because this deck wants to control the board, like hold the board early, because if you don't, you just get overrun. So 3 Tetra is really good at that, because when you play her, she gives you a repair mode to heal her or something else, and once you evolve her, she gives you a Delta Cannon, which is a 1 cost spell that deals 2 damage to anything, and it has an additional Machina card effect, but it doesn't really come into play. But that is also good because she gives you 2 1 cost spells that again can further spell boost your cards in your hands, like such as Truth Education. This is your other main win condition. So when you play it, it does 3 different things for as much. Say it splits its spell boosts across 3 things. So it summons a Guardian Golem, which is a golem with ward, and it gives it +X+X. It then deals Y to the enemy leader and restores Z to your leader, and that is randomly split across the number of times that this card has been spell boosted. So if you spell boost the card 7 times, your golem could become a 4/4 with ward, it could do 2 damage to the leader, and it could restore 1 defense to you. Or it can make a 1/1 golem, deal 5 to the enemy, restore 1 to you. Something like that. So the bigger the spell boost number is on this card, the bigger it is, the more dangerous it is. So you want it in your deck when you play Raio, or you want it really early to draw, to keep spell boosting it, spell boosting it, spell boosting it. Edict of Truth is another draw card, so this draws into other 9 cards in your hand, and if you spell boost it 9 times, so if it's in the deck and you play Raio, you recover 7 play points, so you play it for nothing effectively. You also play Mecha Wing Angel for the Accelerate, because it helps control the board. Also, accelerate cards do trigger spell boost as it classes as playing a spell. So if you play it for 2, it will class as a spell boost. Clark as well is an extra way to draw. So you play it for 2, it's a spell boost. It gives you an Earth Essence and a Verdict Ritual. The Verdict Ritual is a 2-cost spell which deals 3 damage to an enemy, and it will draw you a card because you have the Earth Essence out. So that's also 2 more spells and an extra draw. And Fiery Embrace is a really good way to get rid of big followers. Destroys an enemy follower, subtract 0 from the cost of this card. Spell boost, you subtract 1 more. So again, if it's in your deck and you play Raio, it's going to cost you 0. But that's about it for the deck list. I'll get to the highlight. We'll also quickly say while we're getting over to that, is the deck doesn't have any way really to remove amulets, which can be an issue if you come up against Heavencraft and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm still not great with this deck, but I'll show you the replay. I went 3 and 2 the last time I tried to do the GP. But yeah, we'll get right into it, and remember to subscribe if you want to see more of this content. But I'm really enjoying the Spellboost deck. It is really fun to play. It's hard to get used to, but it's fun to play. So early you want stuff to control the board, so we don't want Fiery Embrace and we don't want the Zealot either. So we get rid of both of these guys. We keep the Clark because you can accelerate it for 2. And luckily enough we get the Tetra here, which is really good on 4 to help control the board. Especially against Bloodcraft, because they have a good way to keep the board pressure going as much as possible. So they just play out a Mecha Wing, get out 2 1/1s. So here we play out Clark's Knowledge for 2 and get the Verdict in our hand. The Verdict Ritual. So then they just go face because there's nothing to hit, play out the Bat. So here we just use the Verdict Ritual to kill one of the 1/1s, not the Bat, because the Bat would summon 2 more. So we just like make the board the same size. So we go for one of the Assembly Droids instead. And again, they just keep piling under pressure. They play out a Hoverboard Mercenary and the Gear Snake Tamer. So what we do here is we Tetra, because it's turn 4. Evolve the Tetra and trade it into the Snake Lady, because if she gets evolved it becomes an issue because she starts giving them more Machina followers. So we kill her, and then we use the Delta Cannon that we get from evolving to kill the 1/2 Hoverboard. So we're still in a good position because we've managed to hold the board this long. So they start trading away, and then they've got the Metal Blade who evolves and then trades, which is fine. They push some damage. Now it comes to our turn 5. On turn 5 we use Magic Missiles to kill one of the Assembly Droids and draw a card. And then we'll play Insight again to draw a card. Keep cycling through the deck. We're looking for Raio here, and then we play the Mecha Wing out. We didn't have Solomon early, so we want a way to get to we want to play Raio as early as possible, and the best way to do that now would just be to draw him. So that's what we're trying to do. So they've got the Trill, they get to evolve it for 3 on 6, pretty standard turn 6 play. They kill one Assembly Droid, kill the other, and then push 1 damage to face. So what we're going to do here turn 6 is Wind Blast away the Trill, because it's been spell boosted up to 7 damage. And then we'll play the Twin Blade Mage to kill the 2/2. And then we'll trade them at the 1/1. And then we'll play Solomon to get the seal just in case we don't draw Raio at any point. We want to be able to get him eventually. Heal up, we use the repair mode to heal up just for an extra spell boost. We don't have any other reason. We don't have a good reason to keep it, might as well spend it. And the Techno Lord just kills the board. And they play out the Mono, which is fine because they're not going to evolve it this turn. So what we do here is we draw the Solomon, so we play the Clark to reduce the cost of the cards in our hand and buff them up as well. Play the Verdict Ritual, it kills the Mono. And then we draw the Raio, luckily enough, so we play out the Zealot for 0. And we play out another Zealot for 0. We trade out the Hoverboard and then evolve the other Zealot and push 5 damage. Because at this point we already know that next turn is just going to be Raio. As long as we can justify playing the Raio next turn, it's going to happen. So they've got the Jafnar and the Hennekar for turn 8, which are a really solid turn 8 play. And they just managed to trade away the board here. So Jafnar goes into the 3/4, and then the 4/4 goes into the 5. And his last words kill off the Zealot. So on an empty board, we just play out the Raio, no reason not to. Spell boosts my entire deck by 9, which is really good. We play an Armored Bat here, and Techno Lord to kill the Raio.
I have seen thy truth.
So now we've got the Insight, we're going to draw it as well. We just want to cycle through the deck as much as possible. We're going to play out our Tetra and Evolver. She's going to trade into the bat.
It's your time, girl. If it has come to this, I will fight.
And once she's traded into the bat here, we're going to spend the Delta Cannon to kill one of the assembly droids and go Magic Missile the other, and repair one the Tetra to bring her back up to 5-4. So that was a fairly good turn. We check now, this Truth's Education has been spell boosted. I think it's around 9 times now. So that'll be 9 split among the stats if we played it. So they've got their Azazel. Evolving the Azazel here is a very bad play against this deck because of the amount of burst damage it has. You'll see this here. So like, we draw some cards with Verdict Ritual, we Wind Blast that away, still on 8 mana. We Fate's Hand for 0 to draw 2 more cards, we get another Twin Blade. Then we Fire Embrace away the Azazel. And then we're going to Fate's Hand again to draw 2 more cards. We're still on 8 mana, mind you. So what we do is we've got our 2 Twin Blades, so they're both going to come in and kill one of the snakes. And that's 4 storm damage. Then the Zealot for 0 is another 3 storm damage, which puts them down to 7. Puts them straight down to 3. Then we play out Truth's Education here, and the Golem's a 9/9 and it deals 3. So as you can see, this deck is really good once you've played Raio. It gets really strong, it's got a lot of burst damage, which is why summoning and evolving Azazel against this deck is a horrible play because of the amount of storm followers that we have. But that will be it for the video today, guys. Thank you for watching, and if you guys are interested, remember you can follow me in the links down below, and you can subscribe for more Shadowverse content. But thanks for watching, guys.